Okay, so today's call is going to be quick. Hopefully you're watching the recording. I know that June and July and August can be, small for attendance because it's summer and not everyone wants to be on their computers. But thank you for those who are on and who is watching the recording. So I'm going to go over like promotions and stuff for June, and then we're just going to kind of go over some other things that hopefully will help you for this month. So I'm going to share my screen just so I don't forget anything. Amber, can you see everything? Okay. So I'm just going to quickly go over this stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. But so basically the promotion for the $48 off Canadian promo code is for the whole month of June. So make sure you are taking advantage of that. I'm talking about it in my stories and in my follow-ups. I'm making sure I'm letting people know that the promo code has been extended. Feel free to use like your own deadline. We talk about deadline all the time and like sharing with people how important it is to talk about a deadline because it kind of gives people that like, oh shit, I should like get signed up soon. So if you have a deadline, like sometimes people use, this coming Friday, sign up and you'll get the $48 off promo code kind of thing. So don't be afraid to do that. We also have Energize that's on sale. So it's 10% off for a one-time purchase and 20% off for subscriptions. So everyone that reached out to me about it today, I'm literally setting them up with the subscription because it's cheaper. And then they can just cancel the subscription like in a week or so they don't get it every month. But I want to make sure that they're getting it the cheapest as they can. So I'm also letting them know it is on subscription, but you want a 20% off promo code over a 10% off. So you actually don't need a code. So when you log into ShareAcart, it's already like done for you. You just put in the Energize, send them the cart, and it's already on promo. So that's awesome. And that's till June 9th. Also, Body Lava, I'm going to share a quick video afterwards to show you what the program's all about if you haven't checked it out. This is the program I'm going to do after I'm cleared to do a workout postpartum. It is a brand new program launch with Elise, and basically it's 20-minute workouts, no equipment, 6 weeks. I think it's 5 days a week. And it's basically like a high intensity yoga program. So it looks really good. I'll show you guys a quick video afterwards, but I'm excited for it. And then Summit, of course, for those of you who are able to attend, it is in San Antonio this year, June 21st to 23rd. So if you are going, make sure you guys update us. I have huge FOMO. I wish I could be there. I'm going to be getting a virtual ticket so that I could watch it from home, and I will definitely be there next year. But if you do want a virtual ticket, honestly, just go to Google and type in San Antonio virtual ticket, or it's probably somewhere on the coach office. And you can purchase that by June 23rd. And then lastly, we're going to still do power hours this month. Like I said, I know that it's getting nicer and not a lot of people like to be on their computers. So we kind of narrowed it down to 2 power hours this month. I'm going to be running one next Monday, and then 2 Mondays from now, Amber's going to run one as well. You guys gave us really good feedback on the power hours and how they're specifically focused on one thing, and you guys love that. So we want to make sure that you guys are getting that for the month of June. I'm going to try and like, if I click this, do you guys see the Elise? Okay. So let's just quickly watch this so you can kind of see what the program's all about.
I'll let you in on a secret. There is a perfect workout that has cardio, calorie burn, strength building, athletic training, agility, mobility, balance, and flexibility. If you have 2 hours. Oh, you don't want to work out 2 hours a day? I didn't think so. How about 20 minutes? This is Body Lava, a nonstop fusion of athletic yoga and primal movement where the sweat doesn't stop for 20 straight minutes. Neither does the burn. If you're short on time, but still expect fast results, it is the perfect fat scorching workout no equipment needed. This is body lava. Hi, I'm Danielle.
Whoops. How do I? Here we go. I feel like that'll be a good program to promote for summer because not everyone wants to spend, 30, 45, 50 minutes on workouts. And it's like 20 minutes. So that's awesome. And then I just did a quick kind of recap. So it'll be launching June 27th. If this is a program that you want to launch and talk about, feel free. If it's not a program that you're going to be doing yourself, I personally wouldn't talk about it because that's not going to be something that your people will see your excitement in, if that makes sense. Definitely like still talk about it in your challenge groups and stuff because a lot of your clients might love this. But if you don't think this is a program that you'll be doing, I wouldn't like go ahead and launch it on your Instagram stories if it's like not really your cup of tea. But definitely promote it to your customers. I think it'll be such a good program. I'm really excited for it. So I'm going to pass it over to Amber and she's just going to kind of share, how she goes about like creating goals for her business for the month, but also like achieving that and making sure it's not negotiable.
All right. Thank you, Shauna. You can stop sharing your screen if you want. I don't have anything to share, but I'm just going to talk at you guys. So I just kind of wanted to go over some of the like expectations that I think we just need to like recover in terms of like, what does a power hour actually look like? Like what, when it says invite, like how many invites, like, and kind of make that connection with your goals and how much you're actually doing behind the scenes, because I think there is a little bit of a disconnect with that in general. And so maybe we just need to kind of go over that. So I want everybody to start by just dropping in the chat. If you like, I don't know if you're currently tracking or if you could like take a guess of like how many invites do you send per day and like how many times a week. So if you only do it a couple of times, say how many times or how many days a week you do it and like how many people you're actually inviting per day. I just want to see a couple reference points. There's no right answers. That's kind of what we're gonna reframe our goals tonight. So let's see some examples. So Shauna says 15 invites 5 times per week, non-negotiable, sometimes more. Awesome. Anyone else? I'll wait for a couple more. Wait for you to check. I haven't been inviting often at all. Okay, this is good. We're just getting that baseline. I have been trying to do 5 to 10 intentional ones each day. Denise, my goal is Success Club 6, non-negotiable, and I just do what I need to get that. Kate, 15 invites a week. I know I need to be doing more. At least you know. Awesome. Okay. So I just want you guys to like actually take the time to think about, if you were sitting here struggling and you're like, I actually don't know how many people I invite, that's a sign that you need to start tracking it. And that's like a huge component of the business that I feel like we don't talk about often enough. So for anybody new that's coming in, you're maybe like, what do you mean by tracking? Or maybe like you haven't been doing this, you need to, but this is going to be a reminder tonight to kind of get on that tracking system to make things a lot easier for you. That's the whole point of this, is not to like make inviting be this big scary thing that you're like, oh, I don't want to invite today. Let's make it simple so that it's something that you can actually achieve, right? So I'm going to go over kind of like what I do and what my goals are, and then we can kind of break that down for everybody else, like in terms of because we all have different goals, obviously. So for myself, in terms of my goal every month is Success Club 10. That's my goal. And in terms of the actual like things on the bat, so inviting, connecting, following up, that's what I'm going to give you, like the actual numbers of what I do, because this is something I actually track. So when it comes to invites, I actually merge. So people do this differently. So like Shauna, for example, might do this differently than I do, and she'll share that after. But for me personally, I lump invites and connections into one category. So for me, it's like the way I have like a super intense tracking system for those who have probably heard this before. But if you're nerdy and you're an engineer or you're a science person, math person, like you might like this type of thing. But like I use like basically something that spits out a list of like 20 to 30 people per day that I need to talk to. And I use the word talk to because it's not necessarily going to be an invite to every single person. So what I do is based on my tracking list. It's basically like a spreadsheet type of thing. I have my list of 20 to 30 per day. Okay, so if I want to hit Success Club 10, that's how many people I'm talking to per day. And that can be, I'll open each person and look at the previous conversation. Maybe we've talked about this in the past and it just wasn't the best time. I might send another invite and be like, oh, I'm doing this program now. I thought it was something you might be interested in. And you actually send an invite type of thing. Or maybe you have a promo on like right now and you can send them the new promo. Or it might look like somebody who maybe keeps ghosting me, or somebody who keeps like ignoring my messages, or maybe they talk to me all the time, but like every time I send something about body, they like totally disregard it. I know like a lot of us probably get that where it's like you talk to them all the time, but when it comes to actually inviting them, it's like ghost. So for those people, what I like to do is just keep the connections rolling, like get more touch points with the person. So I'm not just going to keep sending the same invite over and over when they're clearly not answering it. I'm going to go to their page and see if they have any stories posted and like try and connect with them that way, or maybe check out their latest post. Maybe something big happened in their life. I'll like go message them about it. Or maybe there's something in the past that we've talked about that maybe they had a goal they were working on and something totally unrelated. Maybe I'll like reach out and be like, oh, I was just thinking of you. Like, how is that goal going? So it's like just getting the conversation going again with the person is something I like to do that I kind of lump into my invites because that sometimes turns into an invite in that conversation, right? So it's you're maybe not opening with an invite, but it can turn into that, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to kind of share that little piece because oftentimes when we say invite, we might be thinking like, okay, this has to be a copy and paste, like, hey girl message. It doesn't. Okay. So it just has to mean you have to talk to the person and like hopefully try and kind of direct the conversation in that way. But yeah, so just invites and connections, I lump together based on what the person needs, but it's basically 20 to 30 people per day that I'm engaging in a conversation with. The next thing that I do is follows. So for this, I usually do about 10 people per day. Okay, so not per week, not per month, like 10 people every single day is what I'm following. When I say every day, I usually do at least 5 days a week is kind of my target, just for reference. So for this, I do, the classic, like I usually go to my recent followers or friends and I go and follow people based on their page. So the people who I have something in common with. So like for me, I go to a lot of like athletes, like people that I know are into sports, or people who are engineers, like those type of people. I'll go to their pages and then go and follow girls based on their latest posts that have something in common with me. So if it's somebody who just did a race, for example, I might go and follow some of those people because we actually have something in common. So that's kind of how I do that. I do at least 10, usually honestly more. But that's kind of like my baseline is 10 per day. Follow-ups is another thing on the bat. Okay, I want you to all drop in the chat right now. How often do you follow up? So somebody that you've sent information to, or you've sent, the pricing, or they've said they're interested and you send them a cart and then you never heard from them. Like how many times do you follow up per week with people? I want you to drop that in the chat. And if you don't, that's fine. Just drop it in the chat. I want to see what you guys have to say. I see everyone typing, so. Okay, Denise says, I always follow up. Those are important ones for me. Perfect. So do you follow up a certain number of days after, or do you like track that, or is it just kind of random?
No, I think if I send information, I will follow up a day or two later if they
Okay.
did not reply, and then just try to keep the communication going. But I also quickly wanted to hop in because I'm just not ever here. But when I say I don't invite every day. So for anyone starting, I mean, what I'm doing right now is just really looking after all the clients that I have built up in the first few years when I really did the inviting, when I really did it every day, and I invited lots and I signed those people up, and now I can get those Success Club points with those clients. So for anybody starting, you really need to do it because it's going to build it up. And then a few years down the road, you actually can get those Success Club points, yes, from renewals, right? So I reach out to every single one that has a renewal coming up, even though I take a chance that they might cancel on me, which they have sometimes, right? But I can get Success Club points out of there. And I do know that if I would put my time in and actually start inviting, it really would be good because I could gain some new clients, and that's how I could build my business. So I could build my business further than I am right now, right? So, but I really, when I say, well, I'm not doing really that much, but I just want to make that clear. Like there was a couple of years when I did a lot, and that's where it stems from.
That's awesome. I love that you shared that, Denise, because I feel like that is such a huge part of the business that you don't see until you are like a year into the business when you start getting those renewals. So I'm really glad that you brought that up because that is definitely something huge for, I know myself and Shauna, like we both can probably hit Success Club with renewals exclusively every single month. That's like honestly usually how I hit Success Club, and then anything beyond that is new people. So that's something that you honestly don't see unless you put in the work at the beginning. So it's such a great point that you brought up. So I love that. Thank you. I'll jump back into the chat here. Okay, wait, let me scroll up here to where I left off. Okay. Catherine said, I try to do a couple days after you send the info and then monthly from there, but I haven't been consistent in months. Okay, so that's something you're recognizing that you need to improve. That's awesome. Taylor, I try to follow up about a week after. Awesome. Shauna, follow-ups are key. I follow up 2 days later after sending info. Okay, there's a bunch more in here. I'll just kind of briefly. Okay, yeah. So I think, again, we're just going to recognize, are you following up? Yes or no? Because if the answer is no, this is something that you should start adding into your routine. And as you can see from the people in the chat, you can follow up in different frequencies, like whatever kind of works for you. So personally, what I do is I usually follow up twice a week. So it's not necessarily like every single person 2 days after I send them info. It's usually on like a Wednesday and a Sunday type of thing. I add follow-ups into my list, and so to give you like my tip, because I know sometimes it's hard to keep track of people that you've sent info to, especially when you're on the go and you're like out and about sending stuff, you don't necessarily have your pen and paper to write stuff down. So what I like to do is every time someone asks for info, I take a screenshot just of my phone, like so I can see their username at the top and the fact that I sent them information, so that I have that in my camera roll, so that when I go to do my follow-ups, I just have to go to all the screenshots that I took and then search those people and send them a follow-up. So that's like something really simple for me that helps me kind of keep track, because I know I used to be really terrible with follow-ups, and I used to kind of like forget. I was like, oh, I don't remember all these people. Like I'll just catch up with them next month. But when I started doing this, I was really starting to see the numbers change. So that's what I do, is I like to take those screenshots. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for follow-up. So I do it twice a week, and then it just depends how many people I sent information to, but I'm keeping track of every single person that I sent info to, and I'm following up with every single person at least once. And then depending on what they say, I might follow up a second time. And then after that, I would wait till the next month that it's on the calendar that I send them an invite. Also, yeah, I love Shauna just added her renewal email into the chat. So if anyone wants to look at that, maybe we can copy and paste stuff into the comments of the recordings too, so people can see that for those who are watching the recording. But there's definitely ways to like capture those renewals, because those are like so huge for both Success Club points and just like moving your business forward. So that's awesome. Okay, next thing. I just added unfollowing on here. I know like sometimes this isn't like as important as kind of the other stuff in the foreground in terms of like moving your business forward. But when you're following so many people per day, you can start to kind of like rack up a huge following, or a huge like number of people you are following, and not as many people are following you back. And you don't want to be one of those people that has like, you're following like 10,000 people and you've got like 100 followers. You know what I mean? It just looks weird in my opinion anyway. So that's something I try to monitor. I only unfollow, I just do it one time a week because I hate doing it. But I just have basically a system. I go to my followers, or the people I'm following, and I kind of scroll back to, I organize it from latest to newest. I scroll back and then I just start unfollowing a bunch on the one day. So I do a decent amount. You can't do like too many. But I do probably like 100 a week I unfollow, just for reference. Now, everyone's is going to be different based on like how many followers you have, of course. So this is for me after having been doing this for like 4 years, but that's kind of what I do. But I only do that once a week just to kind of keep things in check there. The other thing that I do every single day is check into my BOD group, or whatever your accountability group is. So this is something that, like Denise mentioned, like, do not forget about your current clients, because this is when the renewals come into play. If you're not kind of helping people along their journey and actually helping them see results and use the products and do whatever, they're more likely to not renew, which is not going to help you, right? And it's not going to help them either. So just an important thing to like touch base with your BOD group, comment on all the people's. Like, this literally takes me like 2 minutes. Like, it is a really quick task to do, and it's something really easy to add. I think that's pretty much it in terms of my actual numbers. So as a reminder, those are the numbers that I'm using to hit Success Club 10 every month as my goal. Okay. So again, invites, connections lumped into one, it's 20 to 30 people per day at like 5 times a week. Follows about 10 per day. Follow-ups, I do twice a week. Depends on how many people I do the screenshot method, and then unfollowing once a week. So that's kind of what I do. I think Shauna's going to share what she does, and you might see how the differences kind of relate. And then we can kind of talk at the end in terms of like your goals and what that means for you, and like kind of fix the numbers. So I'll pass it back to you, Shauna.
Okay, so Amber is definitely way more organized than I am. But I still make sure that like SC10 is non-negotiable every single month. And basically what I do, this is like super simple. I have a notepad, and every single day, like, so in the morning, normally Sundays or like Monday morning, I like to plan out my week. So for example, I literally I write this down every single day as my non-negotiables. I send 15 invites, and I literally do tick marks when I'm sending these invites. I add 10 people to my network, so same as Amber. And I do it in a similar way where I try to follow people that are like relatable to me. And then I connect with 10 new people every day. That's literally my non-negotiables every single day. Obviously, I try to do more, but if like, say for example, the end of the night, I'm like, oh crap, I don't have enough time, or I didn't get whatever, like enough done. I make sure I get these done as soon as I can in the morning, so that I actually know that I did my non-negotiables. I also wrote down today, I wanted to send all my renewal emails, so I did that today. I like to do that at the beginning of the month, so that come time the end of June, they're not like all going through, and then they kind of like missed out on the promo code. So that email that I just shared, I send that to all of my clients, and then I also send them an Instagram message, because not everyone checks emails. And you can send them a text. Like sometimes when you click the person, they have like a cell phone number, and sometimes I'll just like send them a text message, because everyone communicates differently. So if I don't really get a lot of emails back, but I do find like if I'm texting or sending them a message on Instagram, I get more people to respond to me. So don't forget about their cell phone numbers. People put their cell phone numbers in there. And those are like my non-negotiables. And then as for like tracking, I literally use Instagram collections. So if someone asks for more information, I put them in a collection. So for example, this month, if they ask for more info about my group, I put them in a June collection. And then if they don't respond to me in a couple days, I'll give them a follow-up, let them know that I have a promo code. It's a very simple system that I've always stuck with. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, because hitting Success Club isn't hard. You just have to have those daily non-negotiables. And I know that the bat on the coach office will say like, send 5 invites. And it might seem like a lot, but it's really not. 5 invites, I will personally say, is not enough if you want to hit Success Club, or if you want to see those daily paychecks coming in. Um, 15 at least a day. I know that sounds scary, but like I honestly put a timer on. I put a timer on my phone for 10 minutes and it takes me 10 minutes to send those invites because I had already connected with those people. So I already know who I'm going to invite. It takes no time at all. So if you need to do more organizing or kind of see like where you're at in your business in terms of like, sending those invites or follow-ups or connections, like those sorts of things, just give yourself a gut check and see like where you can kind of, tweak that in your business. And we're sharing this because we know that you guys want to hit Success Club. We know that you guys want to, see those paychecks every single week. And we're sharing these things that are actually pretty simple, and not like scary at all. So if you guys have any questions, like specifically on anything else, like we're here to help you guys. And so we just kind of wanted to have that call at the beginning of the month just to share like exactly what we're doing. We're not doing anything crazy, anything different. It's just sometimes you have to, send a little bit more invites or more connections. Especially sometimes in June, July, August, a lot of people use the excuse of I'm busy in the summer. So that's why I thought sharing Body Lava or like 20-minute workouts, effective workouts, could be something that might benefit you. So, does anyone have any questions or anything you want to add?
I think one thing I just want to add to emphasize to what you just said, I feel like it's so important to recognize this, like tracking systems, like when Shauna was talking about her tracking system of using Instagram collections and like she does that, like that makes me want to throw up. Like I was like, that sounds horrible. Like, like I feel like I would hate that system. But that's the point here, right? Is like everyone is going to have their own system and you don't have to do what Shauna does and you don't have to do what I do. You can literally do anything you want that works for you. And I remember going through this like really uncomfortable phase in the very beginning of my business because like I was hearing all these different ways people were tracking their invites and all that. And I was like, none of these work for me. Like, I don't like this. And then I kind of went out and did my own thing. And I love it now, right? But it's like you have to find what works for you because you can't run a successful business without tracking stuff, right? Like without actually understanding. So if you heard like one of our things and you were like, that sounds awesome, I'll try it, that's great. But like if something's not working, like all the things we were talking about, like the reason why it's so easy for us to hit all these daily minimums, like sending 15 invites, talking to 20, 30 people total per day is kind of what we both do. Like it's not hard when you're tracking. It's super easy and it takes like very little time. So I think that's kind of a missing piece for some of us is like really developing a tracking system. Because once you do that, like you're streamlining your whole business. It makes it so much easier. So anyways, I just want to add that because in case you heard one of our methods and you're like, oh my God, ew, like a lot of people hear mine, they're like, that sounds horrible. But like for me, it's like, that works, right? So you just you got to find something that works for you. But yeah, I would also love to hear if anyone wants to share their system, if it's different from ours, if you want to unmute yourself or type in the chat.
There's one real thing here, right? Like you do whatever you want to do. And that's what I do. I do whatever the F I do, right? And there's times in my life where there's just no time for this because there's 7 other things going. So, but that's okay for me, right? So if it's okay for you to not make any money for a couple weeks, that's fine. That's your choice. So you just have to really realize that whatever you put into this is what you're going to get out, right? So you cannot blame anyone around you. If you're going to throw those invites out there, get over that get over that fear, just jump and go. That's when you're going to see success and you're going to get some money back, right? But if you're going to sit there and wonder how it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. So that's definitely what it is, right? The more time I put in, the more I get out of it. For me, there's also something else for me because I'm not that fast starter. Like, I mean, I'm 7 years in and I'm still a beautiful emerald, but but I'm a proud one. But anyways, I am very, I'm always on my stories. I always share every day. I share every day And I do believe that it has brought me people that have done body for years with someone else. One of a sudden, those people quit and they have come to me without me doing too much, just kind of communicate with them, or they've been following me. So keep out there, like keep your face out there, because they see that you are still doing it, and one of a sudden they may hop over to you.
Love that. You're always sharing so much wisdom, Denise. But yeah, I'd love to hear if anyone else has, like, if you want to share your track, like how you're tracking, or this is the time to call yourself out and be like, I'm not doing anything that's tracking, and maybe recognize that that's maybe you're missing points that's kind of making your business a little bit harder than it needs to be. So like, let's take that time to evaluate. But does anyone have anything they want to share? I'm not sensing there is anyone that wants to share. That's okay. Like, that's okay. That's why we're doing this call, is to like at least get you to recognize maybe it's time to figure that out, right? So hopefully like our ideas, like if you want to reach out to any of us, or if, you know, there's somebody else on the team that, you know, tracks and you want to ask them, like literally ask and we will share. So, but do you guys think that would help? Like, I don't know if you guys find this helpful, like having a tracking, hopefully, yes. Okay, awesome. Now, how about in terms of those numbers? Did any of those numbers scare you? Or like, what do you think, based on whatever, so if your goal is Success Club 10, are you doing kind of similar to what we're doing? Or if your goal is Success Club 6, have you kind of modified? Like, how do you feel about that? I'd love to hear in the chat or on mute, like what you think you need to do to hit your goals.
I can unmute, I guess.
Awesome.
I would say I need to connect more. I think at the beginning of starting with body, it was like just sending all the invites and seeing what sticks. So I've been trying to like post more content that relates to actually what I'm doing and that I can actually have fun with, and then people relate to it and there's more of a conversational aspect versus like just inviting them to the group, because that means nothing to them. And also just like pouring into our group more. We kind of changed the way that we were formatting it and kind of invited people even for free, just to get it on fire. And then hopefully over time, as they see the value of the community, that they'll join in and they'll pay and they'll want to use that platform. So just looking at it more as like an inclusive community and a fun thing to do.
Love that. Thank you for sharing, being brave and unmuting. Anybody else? I think there's a couple of things in the chat I can read here. Denise said, I need to do more inviting and put my goal up to Success Club 10. Nice. Kate, same. Right now, inviting feels so hard because I'm not connecting enough. Honestly, it does feel hard if you're not. I feel like that's why people don't like invites, is because it feels awkward because you're just sending them like a random message. But if you really start to like lead with the connection first, you'll start to notice it gets a lot more comfortable and less awkward. Taylor, I need to up the numbers. Okay, glad we established that tonight. That's awesome. Katrina, I'm connecting, but conversations fizzle out, even though we'll connect multiple times a week. And honestly, okay, so if you're struggling with that, it happens all the time, right? But I think the more that you just kind of keep them on your list and you follow up with them the next month or whatever, they're going to keep watching your page. And that's really what you want them to see, right? You want them to see your journey, right? You want them to see your life and what you're actually doing. Because sometimes the first couple invites, like they just don't know what you're doing. So they don't want anything to do with it, but just get them talking. And sometimes people take a long time too. So don't be afraid to like keep talking to the same people over. Like I have people who I started this business like 4 years ago and now they're just getting started. Like, you know what I mean? So sometimes people take a long time. It's important to not give up on those people who still seem to be showing some type of interest in your page. Awesome. Does anyone else have anything, or Shauna, do you want to add anything or any other things you have questions about at this point in terms of like the things we talked about?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I was gonna add, but I love that you guys are like sharing and being vulnerable. Like, you know, saying you have to send more invites or saying that you have to up your connections, because like nobody's perfect. Like, sometimes we all struggle in our business, and that's okay. And that's why we're here to like share with you guys that what we do every day isn't actually like that hard. And like Denise said, like if SC10 is not your goal, that's okay too. Like you're your own boss, you're your own CEO, you're building your own business. So it's all up to you on the amount of work that you want to put into the business. But of course, if you're someone that like wants to see paychecks and wants to see success in your business, that's why we're sharing this stuff with you. So I will stop recording. I will post the recording in the team page. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, hopefully we see you guys on some of the power hours this month. We'll make sure that they're good. We'll make sure that we get lots of work done together. And I hope that this call was helpful for you guys in terms of like tracking and numbers and stuff like that. But otherwise, I do want to say thank you for those who are on the call. I think team calls are so important. When I first started, I always made sure that team calls were like non-negotiable, especially for the people who are taking the time to host them. And it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you guys. Anyways, hope you have a good night and chat with you guys soon.